The Story Vault presents Valkyrie Chronicles, Episode 7, Echoes of the Fallen. The wind howled as Sigrun, a Valkyrie of auburn hair and gentle strength, descended upon the battlefield. Her armor gleamed like burnished copper in the fading light, and her wings stretched wide, casting a protective shadow over the fallen warriors. She paused, surveying the remnants of a fierce clash, a landscape littered with the broken shields and swords of brave souls who had given their all. Her task was clear: to guide the spirit of a warrior whose time had come, carrying him to Valhalla. The warrior she sought, Jorund, lay still upon the blood-soaked ground, his body bearing the marks of a fierce battle. But as Sigrun approached, his spirit did not rise to greet her. She reached out, expecting the usual acceptance she had seen countless times before. Yet Jorund's spirit remained by his body, his face set with an unyielding gaze toward the distant horizon. "Jorund!" Sigrun's voice was soft but firm, her words laced with the ethereal echo of the gods. "Your time among the living is over. You have fought bravely and earned your place in Valhalla." The warrior turned, his face full of sorrow and defiance. "I cannot leave, Valkyrie. My people need me. My oath is yet unfulfilled." Sigrun's brow creased as she regarded him with compassion. "Your people mourn, but your spirit deserves rest. This is not your burden to bear any longer." Jorund's spirit shook with his determination, his voice carrying the weight of 1,000 promises. "There is a raider band approaching my village, Valkyrie. I swore to protect my kin, and I will not abandon them even in death." Sigrun hesitated, torn between her duty and a stirring sense of empathy. The oath Jorund spoke of was not something she could ignore. A Valkyrie's duty was not only to the gods, but also to the honor and valor of the warriors she guided. She could not let such a promise lie unfulfilled. "Very well," she said at last, her voice like the murmur of wind through autumn leaves. "I will help you keep your vow. For one night I will fight by your side." Jorund's eyes lit with gratitude, and he nodded solemnly. Together, Sigrun and the spirit of Jorund traveled swiftly over the hills and valleys, reaching the village as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the world into shadow. As they arrived, the villagers, weary and afraid, gathered their weapons, preparing to face the approaching threat. But Sigrun knew they stood little chance against the raiders, a brutal, merciless force that would leave no one standing. Standing at the edge of the village, Jorund raised his spectral voice, calling to his people in a final rallying cry. Though they could not see him, a spark of courage ignited in their hearts, and they rallied, sensing his presence in the wind. And then from the mist, Sigrun emerged in full Valkyrie splendor. The villagers gasped, sensing a power that transcended mortal strength. With a flick of her hand, she summoned an ethereal shield around the village, a shimmering veil of protection to bolster their defense. When the raiders charged, they were met not only by the villagers but by Sigrun herself. She fought as if possessed by the rage of the gods, her blade cleaving through the dark figures who threatened to take everything Jorund held dear. With each swing, her strikes echoed with Jorund's promise, and the villagers fought with renewed vigor, as if the spirit of their lost warrior fought beside them. Jorund watched, his spirit thrumming with pride and sorrow. He could not wield a blade in his current form, yet he felt every blow his people dealt, every scream of defiance, every heartbeat of life he'd fought to protect. For the first time, he realized that his people would endure without him, that his oath, though rooted in loyalty, did not demand his presence among the living. As dawn approached, the last of the raiders fell, and the village stood victorious. The people embraced, weeping for their fallen and celebrating the lives they still held close. And Jorund, his heart finally at peace, turned to Sigrun with a look of profound gratitude. "Thank you, Valkyrie. My people are safe, and I am ready to leave." Sigrun reached out, placing her hand over his heart. "You have kept your oath, Jorund. The gods honor such loyalty, and your spirit will be remembered in Valhalla." With that, she guided him into the light, their forms dissolving into the morning mist, leaving only the faint scent of iron and roses where they had stood. The village would never forget the strange dawn when a Valkyrie fought beside them, nor the unseen hand of a fallen warrior that had shielded them from despair. As the tale of Jorund and Sigrun fades, remember the strength in promises kept, the courage in bonds forged, and the beauty in stories told. If you enjoyed this tale from the Valkyrie Chronicles, like, subscribe, and join us again as we journey with the warriors of myth and legend.